just recording this. I'm not exactly sure why. I guess it's a human impulse or trait to not want to die, to do everything we can to protect ourselves and save our lives. I have reached out to every organization, every attorney. What it gets down to is this: Arthur was allowed to abuse me for years, to send me to the emergency room again and again and again, to force me to live in poverty, to force me to live in an unfit, unsafe, and dangerous place. The cumulative impact of all the head injuries has caused a disability I can't overcome. I know what's out there in terms of nothing. I don't qualify for a shelter, and it's not a life anyway. At some point you have to come out of the shelter back to your property, your income, your financial security, the things that tie you to a community. Arthur was allowed to benefit from his criminal activity and take everything I owned. Everything. Even the vehicle I was living in when I was diagnosed with cancer. He took it all. I have been surviving the last few weeks because of a tiny inheritance from my mother. It is now gone. It's freezing outside. I don't want to be outside in the freezing cold. And so I have only one option left, one tiny bit of control left. And people should know that this wasn't a first choice. And I've begged people for help. I begged Cheryl for help. I begged Coralie for help. I begged Katie for help. I've begged everyone for help to get my property back, my financial security back, my rights back. And not one person even understands that when society fails me, it's failing more than just me. Arthur's a criminal. He threatened me. He abused me and threatened me for years that if I ever spoke about his criminal conduct, about the tax evasion, the insurance fraud, disobeying direct orders, breaching contracts, the pandering. I didn't complain about the adultery, the pandering, taking money from overseas, defaulting on his student loans, the plagiarism, the $239,000 in illegal moonlighting income. He said he would destroy me, that he was at war with me, that he would destroy everything I loved. And that is exactly what he's been allowed to do. Even though there was a warrant for his arrest for communicating threats, it was never served. I was never protected. The Moore County DA, the Moore County law enforcement, allowed Arthur to benefit from his criminal abuse of me, to literally take everything I own and force me into poverty when I'm disabled. Arthur even used my disability in a formal request for early retirement. There's no dispute that I was disabled. He dumped all of the horses on the property after he left the marriage, when we had no stalls, no barn, no shelter, no fencing for them. If I had left, it would be felony animal abuse. If I stayed and didn't provide magnificently for them and for the dogs, it would be felony animal abuse. That filthy, disgusting pig, Stephen Gladstone, could have fixed the house, could have fixed it to make it safe until I got permission to sell the horses and dogs and found a safe place to live and used the income from the sale of the horses and dogs to start my own life. Gladstone refused, but he asked me to hide from the American public that he owned the house and was refusing to fix it. And then the American Kennel Club accuses me of animal abuse when I'm the victim of years of domestic violence, which they knew about. Gladstone knew about it. Mary Beth O'Neill knew about it. What happened to me is so, so wrong. But there's only so much a person can do. And I've tried. I feel like the people I've known are like crazy, wild, ignorant savages.